On Saturday night, Anthony Joshua returns to Wembley as he continues on the road to undisputed. But will Alexander Povetkin be the man to wreck AJ's plans?
I just love to fight. Coming back here, it's time to just put on a performance, find a way to win and grind it out.
Hello, welcome to JD Ringside. Fight week is in full flow and the final press conference is all wrapped up. I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by Paulie Malignaggi. Good to see you, Paulie. And I know you're extra excited because you're a football fan and you're back here at Wembley, the home of the World Cup semi-finalists.
Yes, quite a spectacle always to be here at Wembley, and with Anthony Joshua fighting, it's always a bigger spectacle. He's starting to make it not just a home of football, but also a home of boxing.
We just saw the big man there walk out. He's looking relaxed, isn't he? Yeah,
relaxed. You know, it's the hard work's behind him. You know, during the camp, sometimes you get stressed to the hard work and the grind of the everyday of workouts and whatnot. But on fight week, you know, it's just about cooling into the fight and keeping your head together.
Well, after the press conference, both AJ and Povetkin went head-to-head. Andy Scott caught up with both men.
Well, hundreds of press from all over the world descended on Wembley today, but grabbing a word with the champion of the world and the challenger is harder than you might think.
I'm looking forward to Saturday night, you know. I've proved that I can take a beating, he's proved he can take a beating, so it's going to be a fight of pride.
You also said looking forward to getting back having some fun. Can you expand on that a little bit?
I think, like, you know what it is, right? Have you ever seen a fight where fighters start smiling at each other, like they hit them and they nod and be like, all right, that was a good shot?
You've done that a few times.
Yeah, like you stick your tongue out and it's that respect that you have for the fight game and all that type of stuff. So that's what I'm talking about, having fun. So going in there, defending, coming back, boxing, him hitting me and being like, all right, good shot. So that's what I mean, it's having fun. And even though it's about brute strength, it's about outthinking someone and showing them that you are better than them mentally and physically.
Alex, very much a happy, smiley Alexander Povetkin today. Does that show how confident you are going into Saturday?
To be honest with you, you will see a different me when going out on Saturday. When I go out to the ring, it's a battle.
Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing.
Lovely. Look after yourself.
I have a lot of respect for Anthony, but that respect will fade a little bit from both of us when we go into the ring, and of course it will reappear again after the fight. But going into the fight and going into the ring, it's a battle.
Paulie, Povetkin, he doesn't look overawed, does he? What have you made of him throughout fight week so far?
No, he doesn't look overawed. This is a guy with a lot of experience. He's been in a lot of big fights. He's obviously an Olympic gold medalist as well, so he had a successful amateur career as well as professional boxing career. But really, if you look at overall, the Eastern Europeans, the athletes, the fighters especially, they usually come with an emotionless, kind of stoic look. You know,
they don't give a lot away, do they?
They don't give a lot away, and really they have a lot usually to give. You know, they're usually very good fighters, and they're no easy task to deal with for anybody. And I don't expect Povetkin to come to just hand it to Joshua on Saturday night. But I do notice that a lot of those fighters, they're very stoic and very emotionless, almost like that ice in your veins kind of a thing, you know. And that's how Povetkin looks.
Look, there's so much on the line for Anthony Joshua, isn't there, on Saturday night? A win for him could set up a potential fight with the winner of Wilder Fury. You yourself were in a similar situation back in 2008 when you fought Lovemore, and do you remember this?
Yes.
You had to win to set up a fight with Ricky Hatton. Just how hard, though, is it to stay focused on the fight in hand? Yeah,
you know, you tell yourself every day, you know, I can't get to the big one without winning this one, can't get to the big one without winning this one. And then, you know, sometimes you look this way and you look this way and you'll feel the media questions and reporters and whatnot, and all the questions are always about are the fight after this one, the big one, you know? So sometimes,
what do you do?
As much as you want to focus, it's very difficult, you know? But you have to kind of put your mind at ease. If anybody saw that Lovemore and Doe fight, obviously I didn't do a great job focusing myself, you know? But really, in the end, I think you have to, you know, just compartmentalize everything, you know, and know that, okay, right now it's time to deal with this. We don't get to this unless we deal with this. Obviously, it's easier said than done. Emotion comes into play, fanfare comes into play, hype and media come into play, but that's really the proper way to approach it.
Well, a fighter that has the inside track on both men is fan favourite Derek Chisora. Here's his take on both fighters that he knows very well.
Oh, what a shot from Derek Chisora! Derek Chisora has the greatest night of his career!
Alexander Povetkin, I compare him to a Rolls Royce. The way he warms up, he takes his time, but when he goes, he goes. I ate so much of his uppercuts. You know, I came back from Russia, my bottom lip was all bruised up to the brim because he had a beautiful uppercut.
Нестандартный боксер. Попадает Поветкин.
What I know about Povetkin, I think in the first 4 critical rounds, 4 or 1 or 2, he's going to be so nervous. And his way of approaching this fight right now with AJ will be up here, trying to move, trying to establish his movement, and trying to set off on his right foot so he can let off that left hook. But I believe my way will be, he'll be fighting, jabbing right there, jabbing right there, jabbing right there. But he don't have the right overhand. So be like boom, boom, and then trying to go inside and trying to come up with some uppercuts and the left hook. That's how I see it. Well, you know what I say to AJ, man, listen, 2 things. This can be one of your hardest fight or your easiest fight. If AJ comes out and establishes powerful jab, and by round 2 lets off the right hand go, knocks him out. Because you have to understand, Povetkin don't have legs. So if you tag him properly, he's gone. I think AJ wins by a knockout. You know, I don't see this fight going 12 rounds. I see AJ winning by a knockout.
So, Paulie, the big question is, how is AJ going to approach this fight? And unsurprisingly, there's lots of opinion on social media. Phil Tomlinson says nothing reckless, just keep him off with a jab. He can't do much damage unless he's close.
Well, I think Phil has a point there. You know, I think AJ is the more naturally gifted fighter in that he's bigger, he's taller, longer range, and he's younger. You know, so I think it comes down to basically using his jab and keeping Povetkin at that distance, but also proper balance. I think if he keeps those proper fundamentals together, I think Povetkin has to reach in more. He has to try to do more to create something. He has to go outside of himself a little bit. And Povetkin has no problem doing that. You know, he will leap in with hooks and overhand rights and whatnot. But if you make him take those risks, you make him take those chances by being fundamentally proper, you will, 1, protect yourself better, and 2, you'll create those mistakes on him and then make him pay for those mistakes, you know? So I think the trick is to remain proper and fundamental and just be yourself. I think Povetkin will cause some moments of anguish during the fight. You know, he will press enough to cause that. But I think the proper fundamentals and keeping calm in those situations will ultimately cost Povetkin when he does those things eventually. You know, I think AJ can keep calm enough to make him pay for those while also obviously going through some rough moments.
What I love about you, Paulie, is you always answer very thoroughly. Jordan Palmer says Anthony Joshua can get the job done inside 3 rounds, raise the bar again, and show us why he's #1.
You know, Povetkin is a stubborn guy, man. You know, I think that, you know, 3 rounds is a bit of a, I wouldn't put it past AJ. He's got 1-punch power to knock anybody out. But I think Povetkin is coming in shape. I think he's coming for his last opportunity. And he's a guy who's known to be very determined. Eastern Europeans tend to be that way. You know, they tend to be really tough nuts to crack. I think it's not foreign to Povetkin to go down. I think he went down a handful of times against Klitschko. He always got up and always kept pressing the fight. Now, Klitschko won a wide decision, but he was made to work during that fight. I think it's not out of the question to say Povetkin can go down in the first 3 rounds. I'll say that. Okay, I'll give that much. But I wouldn't say the fight ends. I would be surprised if the fight ends in the first 3 rounds. I think Povetkin is here for the long haul. I think he's willing to get up off the canvas to do that. I think he's the kind of guy who will not only get up off the canvas, but he's the kind of guy who will not get off the canvas to survive, but he'll get up off the canvas to try to punch his way to a victory. So I think he's going to make Joshua work for this one. Possibly a late stoppage for Joshua. I think it probably goes distance.
When did you take a breath?
Now.
All right, okay, well, we expect AJ to ring walk around 9:50 p.m. on Saturday night. Right, after the break, we take a look at the undercard. The focus for Luke Campbell is his new partnership and avenging that painful defeat.
It's the first mini crisis in the career of the Golden Boy. And I could cry. Campbell down, first time in his career. Could cry.
There's a lot of my favourite boxers, but one that I always resonate with is Mike Tyson. A good fight I watched on YouTube is George Foreman and Ron Lyle. Passionate, they were dedicated. It turned out to be a barnstormer. George Foreman got the win. After that fight, he became a preacher because he said he saw Jesus. My all-time fantasy fight, I would say, would be Tefilio Stevenson versus Muhammad Ali. Tefilio Stevenson was an Olympic Cuban boxer, won the gold medal about 4 times, 3 times. And because Cuban boxers never turned professional, there was always that question wondering, what would the current Olympic champion do to the current heavyweight champion of the world? The one fighter in history I'd want to share a ring with is probably Lennox Lewis. Proves the best of British. Me. In my opinion now, who's the world pound for pound #1? Probably Usyk, because he's got all the belts and he's at the highest of weights with all the belts, so I'll say Usyk.
Welcome back to JD Ringside. Preparations well underway here at Wembley ahead of Saturday night. High praise indeed there from Anthony Joshua for undisputed world cruiserweight champion Alexander Usyk. No pressure, Tony. Well, the 200-pound division has given us so many exciting nights over the years, and let's hope Saturday night gives us more of the same.
I'm the British champion, and this is too soon for you.
I'm a real Olympian. 9 fights and I'm already Commonwealth champ. You know what's coming next.
I've left my family at home. I'm making the ultimate sacrifice, so I return with my belt.
6 weeks of sacrifice is nothing compared to a lifetime of dedication. Risk is the price of progress, and I'm ready to risk it all.
I fear no one. You're not in this for the right reasons.
I've shown already in my career that I want to go all the way.
I'm ready, I'm too good for you, and still!
Asking, I'm taking that belt and there is nothing you can do about it.
Well, boys, we're fighting for my old title. I had it a long time ago. Are we expecting something exciting come Saturday night? I'll go to you first, Lauren.
I think so. It really depends on how the occasion gets to both of us. The game plan they've got, the game plan we've got, and how it meshes together. Because a lot of times you can have 2 exciting fighters who hit hard in their own ways and the styles clash. But from what I've been hearing and what I've been seeing, I think that it could be a very exciting fight.
I agree, exciting. We both promised different game plans, and you know, and if it's true what we're going by, they'll mesh, and it'll be. I think it'll be a fight of the night.
Matt, how do you deal with a man that's so awkward, so he's on the rise, he's got so much power? How do you deal with that?
Run at him 100 miles an hour. Just, you know, there's a lot of thinking involved in it. I don't want to go too much into it, but there'll be ways on Saturday night that I'll be able to show that.
On paper, is this a tall order?
Definitely, it's going to be on paper my hardest fight. Maybe both as a professional and as an amateur. Askins has got a lot of experience, very good on the back foot. very good jab, strong on the inside, and has managed to hurt a lot of his opponents, especially early. So I know exactly what I'm getting in for, but I'm looking forward to it.
So boys, a final message to each other.
Bring your game plan and best of luck, pal.
Yours?
See you Saturday.
It's going to be exciting. Can't wait for this one.
Paulie Okoli is not wasting any time at all, is he? Going for the British title in just his 10th professional fight.
Well, I think he got a bit of a late start in boxing, right? He saw Anthony Joshua in the Olympics and decided he wanted to box, but he realized, okay, you know what? I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go full throttle, and he's been going full throttle. You know, he went to the next Olympics himself. I think he's taken he's put his foot on the gas pedal in his professional career. I thought when he fought Chamberlain, I said, you know what? This guy might be biting off more than he can chew. It's a bit too soon. But
is this the right time?
He passed with flying colors, and now with Askin, it's another tough fight. It's a bit of a civil war because Askin has his own world level goals as well. So it's a good domestic eliminator, but probably at a bit of a world level.
Very much looking forward to that. Well, the chief support, though, sees Luke Campbell hoping to avenge his 2015 loss to Ivan Mendy. Andy caught up with Luke and his new trainer, Shane McGuigan.
Well, it's a rematch for Luke Campbell and Ivan Mendy, but it is a new partnership for Shane McGuigan and Luke. Just talk us through how this partnership came to be. How did you link up with Shane?
Obviously, we've got a mutual friend, George Groves, and we've got the same management team. So they made the connection for me and Shane, and then it just went from there, really. I did a training session with Shane, and I thought from the first training session we did, I thought this is what I need and this is what I want. And from there, it's gone on and got a great relationship, and our styles are really gelling lovely together, and I feel like I've come on so much already in a short period of time.
Shane, I know you won't want to tell us the game plan, but you do know Ivan Mendy very well from using him as a sparring partner for Carl Frampton. What will you do in this fight with Luke to make sure he doesn't make the same mistakes that he did in the first fight?
Well, I think, you know, Luke came on very strong in the second half of the fight, and a little bit the same with Linares. You know, he started a little bit too slow, so our plan is to make sure, you know, we don't get out of the block slow and can start controlling the pace early, and he'll find him easy. You know, Ivan Mendy is there to be hit. He's a very, very tough guy, not sort of load up and admire your work. And yeah, I think you're going to see a rejuvenated Luke Campbell.
So a new trainer there for Luke Campbell. How easy is it to click with a new trainer? How long does it take to settle in?
It depends, you know, it depends on the chemistry. Sometimes it takes a fight or two, and sometimes you kind of start clicking right away. As long as it works in the end, that's what the bottom line is. You know, Shane McGuigan obviously has a lot of success at a young age with a lot of good fighters. You know, he's a young trainer, but he's not an inexperienced trainer. So I think they can mesh very well. I forgot yesterday I think Johnny Nelson or Matt Macklin was saying that the combination of Josh Taylor with McGuigan was a good style matchup, and they think that Luke Campbell as well will also mesh well with McGuigan for that reason, you know, similar styles and whatnot. I think it was a good analogy. I think McGuigan and Campbell can have a lot of success together, but of course they've got to mesh, and we'll see how long that takes.
And we'll see it on Saturday night, and there is only one place to watch this incredible event. Sky customers should go to channel 491 or box office to book this event. For more information on all the ways to watch, go to skysports.com/Joshua. Cable customers should contact their operator. Well, that's it, Paulie. That's all we have time for. Good to see you, and we shall see you at the weigh-in.
Looking forward to it.
Now, over the past few days, tributes have been pouring in for one of British boxing's most decorated and most loved characters, Enzo Calzaghe. Our thoughts from us here at Sky Sports are very much with Joe Calzaghe at this sad time.
It's a huge loss to the boxing world. Enzo Calzaghe was a wonderful man. He was a brilliant trainer, a maverick. He was also a raconteur, a musician. He was terrific to be around, and of course a great family man and an amazing dad to Joe. Yeah, I've known the Calzaghes for many, many years, the early days of Sky. Even we have family connections down in Newbridge. So personally, it's a really sad time, but also professionally, you know, we're really going to miss Enzo Calzaghe. They don't make them like him. You know, we lost Brendan Ingle earlier in the year, such an outstanding man, and he did so much good for boxing. So did Enzo down in the valleys, not just with Joe, but with other great fighters like Enzo Macronelli, Gavin Rees, Bradley Price. So many of them will miss him. And yeah, I really feel for Joe and the whole family at the moment.
We all this guy here, my dad Enzo, at the end of the day, he put me in the boxing. If he didn't push me, I wouldn't be here today. So I'm so proud of him, myself, my family. And what can I say, you know, he just capped off everything in my career. So I'm so proud.
Enzo, have you got a few words?
Basically, I don't know. I don't know. It's good, man. It's good, man. Proud, man. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I think that says it all, really.
This is for him more than it is for me. You know, it's beautiful. I'm so proud. So, thank you, Dad, for everything you've done for me. You're the best. You're the best.
They brought Jeff Lacey over. I mean, he had all the superstar treatment over there. Everyone thought he was the next best thing, and all of that. And of course, that turned out into probably your most perfect night of all. I mean, he didn't get near you. Was that satisfying beyond belief? That
yes, I think that's probably one of my proudest, if not proudest, wins, because I nearly pulled out the fight. So I thank my dad for that, because the week before I was going to pull out the fight because I injured my wrist. I went to Harley Street. They gave me an injection. Said, Joe, you need to rest your hand for 3 weeks. Went on the phone. I'm going to say exactly what language. Can't use the language. A lot of bleeps. So he's like, what do you mean? You can't pull out this fight. You can't pull out this fight. You know, I said, well, Dad, I can't fight. He said, listen, if you don't fight this guy, it's never going to come back. You have to fight this guy. You want the hand, you go on and fight this guy. And, you know, I started to doubt myself a little bit. I think, if I can't fight this guy with one hand. I went to the gym. He said, Joe, said, no matter what, I'm proud of you, but you have to fight this fight. You have to fight this fight, Joe.